And so we went on stage and all the audience went crazy and there was no instruments on stage.
It's just holding out though, because I think did you not do an interview the other day where you had to do most of it over a new computer program?
Yes, I did. I had a thing, but I just stayed quiet for a bit.
It's all good. And you played an amazing gig this week at the Natural History Museum and everything's fine after that. It sounded like an amazing night, Chris.
It was, I mean, we're only doing about 3 or 4 gigs, so I don't know, we're just starting to feel good and then we'll stop again. So
Will you though? Will you? Surely it'll be the other way around. You'll get a bug for it because the live performance from Coldplay are such a special thing. Surely you'll be encouraged to do more.
No, we have a very set plan and
okay.
I think we'll do maybe a couple of shows in America and in Los Angeles and that'll be it.
Cool. Now listen, Orphans, we've been playing an awful lot on Radio X. It's going down brilliantly.
Thank you.
I saw a great clip of you thanking some dancers and people that were performing with you. What's the story behind the song, if you could just explain to our listeners?
The story behind the song Orphans?
Yeah.
Lyrically or like how it came about?
Both really, how it came about, where you were when you wrote it and
okay.
Yeah, lyrically as well.
Well, I mean, like everyone else in the world, I've been seeing so much about all these kids who are forced to leave their town and when it's being bombed or when there's a disaster or whatever. And I was just thinking about that could be any of us. And well, it is a lot of us right now in Britain with all the floods and everything. So just thinking about young people particularly who get labelled as refugees or migrants or something. And really they're just people.
Yeah, of course.
And that was swimming around my head a lot. And then one of the band, just towards the end of the recording, they said, hey, do you think we could have one more? Have you got one more song? And I said, let me see you. And then I had this tiny voice memo and I was saving it for something else, but I thought, okay. And that was the beginning of that song, Orphans. And then it just kind of fell through and then we recorded it quite fast in Paris. And then here we are talking about it.
That's quite a common thing, isn't it, with artists? The little voice notes that sit on the phone can often be forgotten. Have you got a phone full of just little bits of melody and little bits of things that you've recorded over the years?
Yeah.
Are you diligent about keeping them in order? Or is it
but most of it will never see the light of day. So at least I know that we have that sort of throw as much against the wall as you can approach.
And see what will stick. Chris Martin's joining me right now. It's great to see him. It's been a long time since I've last seen him. And I think that's the first gig you played this week in Britain on home soil for 3 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Underneath a massive dinosaur skeleton as well. Was it slightly surreal for you playing a gig somewhere like that?
I thought it was going to be a dinosaur, and it turns they switched it for a whale. Felt like they thought the dinosaur was out of date. I don't know what. They moved on to the whale, so all of our jokes were rendered useless.
All of the pre-written material.
All of the pre-written dinosaur jokes. But no, it was lovely, and it felt very much like our first gig here, if in a way. Yeah. It felt like, we're starting all over again.
Yeah,
which I like. I like that feeling.
I heard the set list had some great surprises in it as well. Sparks was played last night.
Sparks by Coldplay. Yeah.
Was that planned in any way, or was it? Because I heard there's quite a few spontaneous moments as well.
I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard to know what to play, except just go on what might feel right, and accept that some people will be super into it, some people won't ever have heard it before, and some people will be really not into it.
Yeah,
so, I think that's one of the only downsides of having lots of songs. You know, we're so lucky, but we're never going to please everybody, unfortunately. But we try.
Listen, people love you, Chris. People love you. I remember sitting with an artist once, and he'd written down all the songs that he had on little bits of paper and tried to decide the set list from there. Now, you must be getting to the point where the democracy in the band must be tricky when it comes to deciding the set list, because you have such a big back catalogue now. How do you decide what you're going to play?
Everything right now, Gordon, is based on feel.
Right.
There's no consideration of anything else because there shouldn't be at this point.
Yeah.
So if it feels right, whether it's recording it or how we promote it or what set list, then we'll do that.
Yeah.
And there's no other qualifications.
Yeah. Chris, I feel very lucky to have seen Coldplay perform in some incredible places. Really special moments like the Bull Ring in Madrid, for instance, will live with me forever. You know, Salt Lake City, even such an unusual place to go and see a gig, but an incredible experience as well. Now, we do a thing called live affirming moments. So those points at gigs that live with you forever, right? And
oh, great. I like this.
The bull ring was one of them for me. When everyone started waving the white handkerchiefs at the end of the gig to show their appreciation for what you'd just done, it was beautiful. What's your live affirming moment of an artist or a musician you've seen perform that will stick with you forever?
Do you want one?
Well, however you feel right now.
If I had to pick one, it would right now be seeing the Flaming Lips at the Reading Festival in 1999.
Yeah.
But only because that completely turned on its head what I thought a concert could be.
Yeah, was that when they came on in animal outfits?
Yeah, everything. Just the whole thing was like a kid's birthday party, but on acid. And I just thought, okay, there's different ways of doing it than just standing there and looking like very British.
Right, one last question for you before you go, Chris. You know, like I say, I've seen some brilliant moments from Coldplay over the years, but what's your worst gig? What's the moment that wakes you up in the middle of the night in a sweat?
Well, I have a lot. I'm sure a lot of singers have this. I have a lot of dreams where it all goes wrong, and we can't agree on what song to play, or I can't get my pants on, or whatever. I can't get to the stage, or people start leaving, and everything breaks, and I have them all the time.
Yeah.
But in real terms, I mean, maybe a long time ago, we had this gig in Los Angeles, and our tour manager said, "You've got to go on. You've got to go on." It was in a Virgin Megastore.
Yeah.
And so we went on stage, and all the audience went crazy, and there was no instruments on stage. and our gear hadn't got there yet.
Right. So what did you do?
That was maybe the worst, because it was nothing.
Was it an a cappella performance or a barbershop quartet?
No, we just had to sort of turn around, and that was maybe the worst.
I'd quite like to hear that 4-way vocal harmony from Coldplay. Just barbershop quartet.
I'm not sure you would.
Radio X.